What's up, guys? And today is May 25th, and welcome back to Good Time Trading. And it is now a 41 on the crypto fear and greed, and that means people are getting pretty shook out, pretty scared, and where there's panic and confusion, there's money to be made. So let's get into the charts and check out this crazy stuff on the daily. We got pretty new stuff happening about, but I did go live last night and talked about it. And this is the hash ribbons indicator. Also talked about it in my first video. If you hadn't seen it, go check that bad boy out. We went into a deep dive about this and how it affects the price. And so on the daily, we got the miners capitulation, and that's the Bitcoin miners. And it shows basically the hash power, and when the hash power goes down, it's them turning their machines off, meaning they're capitulating, getting out of it. They don't think it's profitable, essentially. So they said it wasn't profitable at like 9K, and then they also gave up down here at 5, 6K. So is this a contrary signal? We'll go back and see. Last time it capitulated, it was right here, October of 18, and that one got us to the buy signal 50% down. So we got a 50%, and then right here, see what we got. So from capitulation to buy, about 19%, and that was a 30% dump. And then we got another one right here. So where did we capitulate? This one wasn't so good at getting the direction, and then this one did get another dump right here. So capitulation somewhere right here, and then a 30 to 40% dump. So, and then this one didn't get it that good. This one either. So yeah, let's just say 20 to 30 to 50% dump is possible. So, and if you were sticking with us, we were talking about this trend line right here coming down. And then we got this guy. So if we're at the top of the descending broadening wedge, which does usually resolve to the upside, that means if we're getting capitulation, then putting all that together, we know that we should dump from here at least 20%, and that would put us at 6K. But doomsday scenario, 50 to 60% crash, could be 3K to 2K, and also in line with this trend line. And if you really got crazy with it, it also could draw it. Not really like that, but maybe like this, and that's 3 touches, and 3 touches does make a trend. And the bottom side of it, if we went straight down 70%, that's 3K. So I would be looking for 2 to 3K to act as a bottom for Bitcoin if we did get down there, which, as you can see, just a slow dump, kind of like we did back here, that would take us all the way to January. But we know how Bitcoin is, and that shit can change real quick, and it could probably go down something more like this. So a bounce at the 200-day, and then a plunge, and then go into a bear flag, consolidate here, and then, yeah, maybe rock it back up. So that's kind of what I'm thinking. So maybe a bottom put in maybe in July, August, or later. But all that being said, would be careful out there. And then with all the doomsday targets, sorry, what the hell? Why are we going to 2K? Well, we've been shouting out this head and shoulders here for, I don't know, it's been at least 8-9 days, I think, but nobody's seen this yet. So when you do know something everybody else doesn't, that's a good way to make money, just because it's not priced in yet. by most people. And then a rough way of measuring it is about a 60% drop. So from the top, let's go 60%. And that's also lining up at 3K. So 3K is looking pretty likely. But as long as we're above the 200-day moving average, I would not be looking for the doomsday targets to be hit. But as soon as we break it, just like right here and right here, I would be looking for a big move. And then you can kind of see Bitcoin is kind of heating up on these dumps. Like, so this one, 27. And then from this one, 41. And then this guy, 63. So we went 26, 40, 60. So let's say we did 60. That means this next freaking dump could be 70. And if you see the trend, I hope you guys can see what I'm saying. But 2K, I've been shouting out 2K for a while now. I do think 2K does get hit eventually. And then from 2K, then we're looking at 100K. So I do think we're going to go to 2K, but I also think it's going to reverse from there. So just because I'm bearish doesn't mean I'm long term not bullish. So, and that's something new I just seen looking at the charts. I hope that doesn't happen, but I do think it's likely. And then, so we'll get back to our regular stuff now. And also, while we're there, we'll go to start out with the monthly. Okay, so looking at the monthly, been watching the steady volume decline, and also nobody's looking at this either, but this would line up with the macro head and shoulders. So I would look for a big spike up, come down to 2K, and then, yeah. And you're like, oh, well, how could it do that with a green dot? Well, the monthly is always bullish until it isn't. And so, yeah, wouldn't be looking for that one to pump us to the moon right now. So, and then also, you can see the monthly 89 exponential moving average coming in at 3,800. So maybe a bounce there along the way. But there'll be bounces along, probably each level on the way down. But we'll get there when we get there. I don't think it'll happen today, maybe tomorrow when traditional markets open back up. But looking at the 2-week, you can see kind of where I'm getting this. So on the 2-week, you can see every time we have a doji, the trend changes. So like right here, doji, trend change. Doji, trend changed up. And then, or was it the 3-week? Weekly. All right, so my bad, guys. So on the weekly, we got a doji right here and changed the trend up. And then a doji right here and it changed the trend. A doji right here, changed the trend. And then we got a doji here. So putting all that together, and then you can see a $3,700 target down here. But I do think, first and foremost, we're going to bounce this yellow 10 on the weekly, and that's coming in at 7,900. And so we did get a fresh weekly a couple days ago, and we did say it would get some resistance at the green and purple EMA, and it is looking like it is right now. But as long as we're holding above the RSI EMA right here, the white line, it is bullish. So long term. And then on the 5-day, we did get the 5-day red dot, which is bearish, but by the time it gets in, you got to think your hourly 2-hour is a little bit overdone. So I do think that this could be a medium term bottom, and we could pop it back up to 8,900 to 9K. But we'll get into that a second. But right now, let's talk about the higher time frames. And we did say on the daily, when you broke the green and purple, it would be a big move down. But we haven't seen it yet. But on the daily historical volatility, you can see If it starts pumping up past 8, I got some alerts set at 15 and 26 that I do think we could have a big move, but not until that spikes up. And we are in a head and shoulders right here on the oscillator, which is bearish. And so going down to the 12-hour, I'm not going to be bullish until it puts in a green dot, like for the medium term, but you can kind of see on the 12-hour we got ourselves in this pattern right here, and then yeah, so we're in a little bit of a fallen wedge. So I do think that price action could pop it up out of this, and then the measured move out of this guy. About 10%. So if it did pump it up 10%, that would be up to 9,600. And I do think that that is a very real possibility, but not until Tuesday. We'll have to check. I mean, yeah, Tuesday. So we'll have to check it then. But if it does break down, that'd be pointing down to 7,500. And you can also see the declining volume right here. So when we see a volume spike and then price action going down, it should line up with that daily, the daily historical volatility percentile. So looking at that, I do think we're going to pop back up, and then jumping down to the lower time frames, we can see the 6 hours still at pretty much extremes on low volatility. So the big move has yet to happen, which if it's contracted on the way down, that could be bullish, especially on a weekend. We've created a CME gap, and looking at the CME chart, so we do have a gap at 9,000 to 9,100. So I do think we'll pop back up over there coming into next week. But and we do have a 4-hour green dot, which is bullish. So I do think it pops back up to 9,000. At least 9,015 and maybe even up to 9,150. But it doesn't change my mind on being bearish until we break above 9,159. And so jumping on down, see if we can see anything. So we do have 2-hour bullish divergence from this point here in RSI to this point. So, and then from this point in price action to here. As you can see, we got trend lines going the opposite way with price action. That's how you know it's divergence. So I would be looking for that to play out. And also you got red in volatility. So maybe a pump back up to 9,050 and then play out more downs. Probably the big wick at that point as well. And then, so on the 15-minute, you can see we're in a range. And let me draw it out for you guys. So we got this guy and then this guy. So if we break here, it is a 2.7% measured move. So 2.7 and then 2.7. So yeah, basically saying if we break out of these ranges, that it's going to go to the next range, and it's only 2%. So I do think that possibly we test up to 9,150 one more time, wash out the shorts, the over leveraged shorts, and then we end up playing out our big downside moves. But that's kind of what I'm looking at, guys. And anyway, it's been great talking to you guys. And if you're new, don't forget to like and subscribe. Click on the notification bells because I will be doing live streams every now and then around the daily candle close, which comes in sometime tonight in around 7 hours, but it'll be later than that once you see it. But anyway, guys, take care. Have a great Memorial Day.